Hello, welcome to day 401. So today we begin our last 100 days, and we're in NTI Hebrews, which is all about letting go of illusion and embracing truth. And this past weekend, we saw a Leo video where he attempted to help you experience yourself as God. I want to share a little bit about that video and a little bit about my experience. You know, at the very end of the video, Leo talks about try this on psychedelics. I don't agree with that. In fact, if I had discovered what I realized to be true on psychedelics, I personally would doubt that it was the truth. So it was really helpful to me that I had the same realizations that Leo talks about in that video, but that I had these realizations just through contemplation, just through meditation, with a very sober, clear mind. Let me give you an example, of course. One of the things that Leo talked about in the video we watched this weekend is that there is no time. I agree with that 100%. There is no time. Some people call it the eternal now, right? Of course, now is a time-based word, but it's this eternal present that is always here, that is completely non-moving. That's what's real. So let me see if I can help you get a feel for that without psychedelics or anything else. This is my kitchen clock. I climbed up on the cabinet a bit ago and got it for you. And I just want you to notice that second hand moving. This is what we would call time passing. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to focus on consciousness, awareness, presence, as your eyes watch this second hand move. Much like the open-eyed meditation. Your eyes are watching the second hand, but you're focused on the consciousness. Notice the consciousness is completely unchanging. The presence is stable as both here and now. And notice this second hand is moving within that stable, present consciousness. The consciousness is not moving, not changing. It's the manifestation of the clock in a second hand that is moving and changing. You see, the consciousness is eternal. Manifestations are temporal or temporary. Manifestations come into being and disappear very quickly. And that's what you're seeing with this second hand. I might have shared with you that I once had a spiritual experience with a very sober mind. Where I became aware of what we call the Big Bang. But I became aware that the Big Bang isn't something that happened millions or billions of years ago. But it's something that's always happening now, within this eternal awareness, within this eternal consciousness. It's as if the world and the universe comes into being and goes away, and comes into being and goes away, thousands of times per second. So that as we perceive it, just like a cartoon doesn't seem to be many different drawn squares on the film, it seems like it's always here. It seems like it's constant, like a cartoon seems constant. But just as a cartoon isn't constant, it's many, many images that are moving very quickly. The coming and going away of the universe, of the world, of perception is coming and going very, very quickly so that it seems constant, but it isn't constant. That's what you're seeing here with this second hand. It appears to be the passing of time, but it's just new manifestation, new manifestation, new manifestation, new manifestation within the constant unchangingness of what we are. You know, Leo asked us to let go of a lot of different concepts in that video that we saw this weekend, including letting go of the idea of a world, of a universe, of a human. And that is a process we need to go through in order to realize the truth of what we are and the truth of what everything is. We have to let go of our concepts. And this is really what NTI Hebrews is talking about when it talks about letting go of dreams. It's letting go of what we believe, letting go of what we place value on. It's through this letting go process that we can see what's left. And what's left is what's true. And that's what we are. Leo talked about letting go of the concept of others. If you look at consciousness, look at your own consciousness. That consciousness is one. It appears to shine through many bodies. It appears to shine through even many types of beings. You know, humans, animals, fish, insects. But it's one isness. That's why we've been practicing this is exercise. The manifestations come and go. The manifestations shift and change. You see that here. We're not denying that. That would be foolish. But the isness that every manifestation is remains the same, remains present, remains non-changing. I experience that even as the isness of the apple. The is what is real. The temporary appearance is the illusion. It's not really that the temporary appearance is the illusion as much as the belief that the temporary appearance is what it is. That's the illusion. Let me say that again very carefully. Is what it is. The appearance that it's a clock showing us the current time. And that's what this is. That's the illusion. Is what it is. Is what I am. Is what you are. Is what everything is. Is what's real. Is unchanging, present, eternal, here. One of the things that Leo said in that video was he asked about your thoughts about truth, your concepts about truth. What is truth? Well, my answer to that question as I watched the video was less conceptual than maybe it would have been at an earlier time. For me, truth is that undeniable reality. And hear that word, undeniable. If the thought arose in some way that I am not is, well, that's ridiculous. I know I am is. We don't usually word it that way. We call it the I am presence. You know, Jesus said in the Bible, before Abraham was, I am. He was speaking about the eternal consciousness. Before Abraham was, I am. So in order to realize the truth, we do have to dump our concepts, you know, like the concept of chocolate pudding. You know, if I say chocolate pudding, an idea may pop into your head immediately. You may think you know what chocolate pudding is. Let me show you a picture. That's a baby. This baby doesn't have the concept yet of chocolate pudding. So the baby is experiencing the isness of chocolate pudding. Not just the idea that chocolate pudding is something to eat. It certainly was eaten. You can see it all around the mouth. But feeling the consistency of it. Experiencing its isness. You see, this is what we don't do when we have a concept of what something is. If I say, this is a rock, it can be totally ignored. But if I say, I don't know what this is, then I can feel it. Look at it. Experience it as is. The word rock, in a way, destroys it. And it's not that we're going to dump language, because we aren't. We want to dump our concepts as the truth. A concept is not the thing. The thing is. Let me turn to NTI Hebrews, shall I? NTI Hebrews chapter 1 began by saying, "By this time you recognize that the Son of which I speak is you. There were no prophets or angels of heaven. There is only you. How you saw yourself and how you are coming to see yourself now. It is as if you have been on an elevator ride going up within the awareness of yourself. And everything is that self, which is. It says later in the same chapter, you are eternal, which we just saw that, right? As we looked at the second hand appearing to move, and we noticed our constant changeless nature. I am eternal. I am not time passing or within time passing. I am eternal, changeless. The appearance of time is within my ongoing, changeless awareness. You are eternal. This personality is not you. This world is not you. Right? The temporary appearance is not you. You are the is, however, that makes up the temporary appearance. How could this temporary appearance be without is? It appears in is. You know, people use the word consciousness. They say everything is consciousness. But look at it said this way: everything is. Can that be denied, or is that the truth? See, the truth is that which cannot be denied. Is cannot be denied. Everything is. I is. This personality is not you. This world is not you. They are all temporal or temporary. They shall pass, and you shall still be you, as you have always been, and you shall forever be. That recognition that feels this truth, that is the edge of your awareness of you. We could call that the edge of your truth realization. It is there in your awareness now. It has always been there, a part of your core knowledge. It has never doubted itself. It has always been the same. Now, NTI Hebrews recommends that we celebrate our awakening. So like if there's some realization happening right now about is, about time being manifest within is, celebrate that. Be joyful regarding the awakening that is occurring. It says, let the awakened mind lead in all things, and the sleeping mind will join the purpose of awakening. The mind is split, but this split is not to be mourned, because the split is an illusion in the state of awakening. This is really what the loving all method pointed to. Remember, the loving all method talked about loving your kind thoughts as well as, your bad thoughts, your emotions that feel good as well as your negative emotions, the kind things that people say to you as well as the mean things that people say to you. That's because what you're learning to love is the is. This emotion of feeling happy is. This emotion of feeling sad is. This emotion of feeling frightened or nervous is. These compliments that people are giving me is. But these criticisms that people are giving me is. You see, I focus on the changeless, the is. As the universe, boom, 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 comes into being and leaves, comes into being and leaves, comes into being and leaves, I notice all of that is temporal. To put value on that as if it is not temporal is a mistake. That's to make the illusion seem real. I let the illusion come and go, come and go, come and go, come and go, change, change, change. I focus on the constant, the is. The mind is split, so some of it seems negative, some of it seems positive, but it is. It's an illusion within this constancy of is. And this constancy of is has always been here. So that's what's real, not the illusion of a split mind. Also, awaken the mind by being gentle to the split. Again, this is a part of the loving all method, being gentle to the negative emotions, the negative thoughts, and we harshly judge them. We're giving them that value of real. But when we're gentle to them, that's here now, and now that's gone. That's being experienced now, and now that's passing. And don't give it any more value than that. Just the recognition that it's temporarily here. Then you can focus on what's real, focus on what's constant, focus on the is. NTI Hebrews chapter 4 said, today is now. The mistake you make is thinking that today is tomorrow. And so you see your true desire, but you put it off until another time. What this is really saying is begin these practices now. Are you doing your daily walkabout exercises? Like right in the last week, we were focusing on the isness of everything, the consciousness of everything. Are you doing these walkabout exercises on the day that they're assigned? Are you taking advantage of the present moment? You have to take advantage of the present eternal now, because that's all that's real. You can think, tomorrow I'll get better at my exercises, right? Tomorrow I'll remember to do this throughout the day. But there isn't such a thing as tomorrow. That's a concept. Regardless of whether the calendar says it's Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, regardless of what that temporary manifestation looks like. Remember, that changing of time, changing of dates, that's just temporary manifestation changing. And regardless of what that temporary manifestation looks like, Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, if you really look, it's always now. It's always this changeless, eternal moment, with moment not being a true word. This changeless, eternal. That's what's real. And so the spiritual practice needs to be brought into this. If it's not brought into this eternal now, then it's just a thought. So today is now. The mistake you make is thinking that today is tomorrow. You'll eventually get to it, right? And so you see your true desire, but you put it off until another time. This is what the eternal moment is for, is the practicing of your spiritual aspiration. It says, when you remember, act. Sure, forgetfulness still happens. As we mentioned, the mind is split. But when you notice yourself remembering, practice the walkabout exercise then, now, because now is all we have. Let go of your dreams. For how shall you to awaken except through the choice to let go of your dreams? In other words, let go of giving value to the temporal as if it's real, as if it has the matter, it matters, the mattering of being real. Remember, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. NTI Hebrews chapter 5 said, spend time in prayer and you practice the practice of awakening. When we spend time in devotion, when we spend time in our heart, we are using the power of our own divine nature to help wake ourselves up, to help us remember to practice, to help us notice isness, to help us have spiritual realizations, mystical experiences that teach us, to have insight. When we pray, we're condensing our true desire back in upon itself, which then makes it stronger, more potent, more powerful. And it feeds into that creative process that we learned about in NTI Ephesians, and it brings back to us that which is needed to help us continue to awaken. So spend time in prayer, and you practice the practice of awakening. Spend time in prayer, and you jostle yourself unto your own state of awakening. Likewise, forgive yourself when you notice you've fallen back to sleep, fallen back into giving the world value, your personality, your emotions, your thoughts value as if they're real. It says, if you are noticing that you fell back into slumber for a time, then you are not within slumber now. That's an important point. For you do not notice slumber when you are deep within it. If you are noticing now must be a state of awakening. Rejoice and use now, this eternal moment, to practice awakening. Through its practice, the state of awakening shall increase. Also, NTI Hebrews 6 said something interesting. As you choose searching for truth, you choose to believe that you do not know truth. Truth is not something that we seek externally. Truth is something that we focus on. Whatever degree of knowing we have, we focus on that degree of knowing. It's an internal focusing on, just like in the loving consciousness method, which, by the way, we're going to start all of those. We're just about done. We have description Z, I believe. We'll start over them with A, and we're going to go through every one of those again, because we're not seeking, we're focusing on. That's what the true spiritual search or seeking is. It's, Jesus said to seek within, right? We're focusing on whatever degree of realization we have, and it expands, it grows, we become more aware of it through our focus. So as you choose searching for truth, you choose to believe that you do not know truth. You also choose to believe that you do not have truth, which means you choose to believe that you are not the truth. But when you lay aside searching by realizing there is no truth you can find that is not within, and you begin the practice of the work that is within, which is focusing on it, watching consciousness, loving consciousness, then you have matured and you are practicing your maturity. So I think that's all I will cover today. As we go into the next week, as I mentioned, we're going to start the loving consciousness meditations over again. We're going to be listening to some NTI Hebrews teaching, continuing to read from NTI Hebrews. We will have a special assignment, how to do self-inquiry with Leo. That will be this weekend. And of course, we'll have walkabout exercises that are going to help us focus on letting go of putting the value of reality on the temporary manifestation, and instead noticing isness as where the value of reality goes. So we'll do some walkabout exercises with that. Now today, again, I mentioned, is day 401. And every 100 days, I remind you to donate to Awakening Together. So 401, it's time to do that. So you can go to awakening-together.org and find donate on the menu bar and make a donation as appreciation for the value of what you are getting through the 500 days. It's always wonderful to give money to that which spiritually feeds us. That is actually a statement of, I value this, right? We always give our money to what we value. So that's a statement of, I value this awakening. And of course, I donate to Awakening Together as well. So I'm not actually on the receiving end of those donations. My money comes in through a benefactor, but I am one of the donators. I do give to Awakening Together, because even though I teach and even though I write the curriculums, to say that I'm not getting value out of Awakening Together would be a lie. I get value out of the teaching. I get value out of writing the curriculums. I get value out of leading the retreats, right? That's all helping to awaken me. So I donate to Awakening Together. And then, as I said, today you begin your last 100 days of the 500 days. So give the eternal now your attention as we go through these days. Do the walkabout exercises, contemplate the reading material, because this is truly valuable. All right, I'll see you. Bye.